Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Offhand. Today, we are going to be talking about Jrue Holiday and the new contract he got, and just kind of how he fits on this Bucks team and how he's going to fit going into the future. But first, my name is Andy. The man to my right is Hansel. Hansel, how are you
Enjoy.
doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Doing good?
Yeah, I'm just fading biochemistry, but hey, just chilling with that.
Well, now we get to talk about the chemistry of the Milwaukee Bucks and how that works out going forward.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
transition. Got that one. Nailed it.
Transition.
But let's first talk about Jrue Holiday and his contract. So he signed an extension for 4 years, $134 million. That means he's going to be making 37 million in his last year. If he chooses to opt into it, it is a player option. But the first 3 years are just straight up. In the first year, he's going to be making 30.1 million, and that's going to make him the 31st highest paid player in the league next season.
Wow.
So, do you think he's worth that money?
Well, that is a lot of money.
It is,
That's a lot of money that probably none of us would ever see in our lifetime.
for sure.
But do I think he's worth it? Out of the 30 other players who probably have a contract over him like that?
Yeah.
Probably.
So would you
Honestly.
so would you say Drew Holiday is arguably, since 31st, arguably a top 30 player in the league?
I don't see why not. I mean, you tell me, a combo guard like him who could play defense and score and pass and do literally everything on the court, I think he's definitely worth it. I mean, you've seen some pretty bad contracts in our lifetime. I think this
No, for
contract
sure.
is pretty
For
good.
sure. For
Also,
sure.
is he the highest paid player on the Bucks, or how's it
No,
looking in the Bucks?
I'm pretty sure he's the second highest player on the well, no, he's the third highest player on the Bucks.
Who's the top two?
First Giannis and then Middleton. However, I want to say Drew passes Middleton in that last year. In one
Oh,
of
because the
those,
player option, right?
yeah, in one of those two last seasons, I think he goes over Middleton. But I think Middleton is second right now, and then he's
Is
third.
Middleton's younger, right?
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure. I feel like they're more or less the same age.
I'll tell you right now.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But tell me, what do you think Drew Holiday's impact has been so far for the Milwaukee Bucks since
His
he was
impact,
traded? Huh?
his impact has been amazing, and yes, they're about the same age.
That's what I
Chris
figured.
Middleton is 29.
That's what I figured.
So I do believe, before I go into that, I do believe that that Drew Holiday is definitely worth more of the money than Chris Middleton is, because
That's
I
fair.
think he has a higher impact and there he does everything Middleton does, but better.
That's fair.
And in my opinion, he's actually the second best player on the team, maybe arguably the first if you really, really stretch it
No,
by a lot.
no.
But
Stretch it like
but
6 feet and 10 inches? No,
yeah, yeah,
no,
of
no,
course.
no.
But
Definitely not.
anyways, all right. Well, let me let you know Drew Holiday's impact on the team
Yeah.
and why I believe he definitely deserves that contract.
Okay. Tell me.
Well,
Tell me more.
currently this season, he is averaging 17 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, and 5.4 assists with
Hmm.
1.8 steals, which is, by the way, leading the league in steals,
That's
which is
wild.
insane. His true shooting percentage right now is at a 60%. He's shooting 50% field goal right now, which is insane for a guard.
Hmm.
He's shooting 39% from the three, which is amazing too, and 82% from the free throw,
You
which is
actually want to
solid.
hear? You want to hear something pretty crazy about his
What?
both those percentages, those splits of his?
What about it?
So this is the highest field goal percentage he's had in his whole career, and he's
Wow.
also shooting like the same amount on his career average. And this is also the highest 3 point percentage he's had in his career. It's tied, but it's basically the highest, and he's shooting above average. He's actually making a 4.8 threes per game this season compared to 3.7 on average for his career.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah. So he's been really efficient. He's actually like doing really well in PER. He's has a 20.2 PER, so he's doing really, 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 really well.
So are you really gonna tell me he's not worth the contract?
30 million is just a lot.
It's a lot in general, yes, but I feel like he's in his prime right now at 30 years old. And I
Mhm.
feel like he does have those solid 4 or 5 years left,
Oh, for
stretching
sure.
it 5 if he really doesn't get injured.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
And then his usage rate actually isn't that high. It's a 21.5, which is like pretty average for a third option,
Yeah.
second option.
No, he's been really efficient. They've been using him really well in Milwaukee. They're mainly trying to get him to expand, not expand, maybe that's not the right word, but kind of give more space to the offense to kind of help Giannis operate a little bit. Like I said earlier, he's shooting really good from three now. 36% of his shot attempts are from the three, and that's like the highest in his career, but like a good amount if I remember correctly looking at it. So he's the point guard of the team. He's plays most of the time as point guard, and they're trying to kind of use that, not necessarily two-man game, but trying to use him as a weapon from outside, so that way Giannis has more freedom to go into the paint and kind of use him more as like a roller and a guy to throw it down to and stuff like that, which I really like.
No, yeah, no, for sure. Now, here's my question: do you think the Bucks seeding will go up if they decide to play Drew Holiday as a primary ball handler instead of Giannis and start using Giannis more as an off-ball player?
100%. I'm fully about that
100%?
idea. Yeah, I've been campaigning that idea for a long time now.
No, me too. I've been on that boat too for a while.
I really like the idea. We can get more into that later on when we talk about the future and kind of what the Bucks need, I think. Um, but this is something funny too because of stats. Stats are a really interesting thing. While he's been having a really good individual season, the Bucks are arguably worse than last season. They have a lower net rating. They have a lower effective field goal. They're lower in pace, and it's not a huge. It's not saying a lot because last year they were first in a lot of these categories, or at least really high up. Um, and they're also lower in points per game. Their defense has gotten a lot worse actually. I think they were fourth last season. Now they're like 19th, something like that. So, how do you think that's because of Drew Holiday, or you think that's because of other factors at play? Like, what do you think is the reasoning behind that?
I genuinely think it's other factors. I don't think Drew Holiday is the main factor.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take into account that the team went through a lot through because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Holiday was out because of COVID for 2 weeks, so that really slowed them down. Then not only that, they gave up a lot of assets when they gave up when they traded for Drew Holiday. But my biggest thing is also that I feel like teams finally figured out Giannis,
For sure.
how to guard him,
For
and
sure.
they definitely are pushing him to shoot a lot more and to dribble a lot more and then to kick it out. And then kicking it out, they're giving it to shooters that are not as efficient as Drew Holiday is because Drew Holiday wasn't playing for a lot of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot. I'd say like he missed out like 7 games, but still, those 7 games cost him a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it is other factors. I don't think I'd put this on Drew Holiday, and it is kind of what you're saying. They gave up depth. They lost Bledsoe and George Hill, and while Drew Holiday is better than both those players, like combined, it's still a loss of depth, and we see that in the minutes per game with Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis playing way more minutes. Not way more minutes, but they're playing more minutes than they did last year. I think I think they're just trying to mix things up in Milwaukee because teams have already figured them out. So if I remember correctly, in the beginning of the season, Budenholzer, the coach for Milwaukee, he said that they were going to try to experiment with different type of sets and stuff like that on offense, so that way they can kind of have a different identity when they go into the playoffs, and that way they're more prepared for the different looks that teams are going to give them. So that way they're kind of not a one trick pony in Giannis when they get there in the playoffs. So I think that's why all those percentages and all those numbers and stats have gone down because they're still a very good team.
No,
Uh,
100%.
they're still a really, really good team. I don't know if you have anything else to add to that before we get into the future.
The only thing I want to add to that is, yeah, that the team has been experimenting a lot with their lineups, and I generally do believe that it's just a chemistry issue of trying to figure out everyone's individual role. And again, like what we were saying, I do believe that their best role and their best shot at the finals would be to move Holiday to a more primary position. But that's definitely talking about the future.
Yeah, and since you brought up roles, right? And they need guys to play their role. They don't have as much depth as they did before. So how far can the big three of Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday go, you think? They will also have their key guys going into next season, except for PJ Tucker, but he hasn't really done anything for them, just so you have that in mind. So the kind of their window for a championship, I think, is these next 2 years, this year and next year, because they're gonna have most of those guys back. So how far do you think that big three can go with more or less this team?
Well, I definitely do believe that with the added experience of a playoff push for them this season,
Mm-hmm.
and with everyone getting more comfortable with their roles, I do believe that next season they do have a better shot than they do this season because
Okay.
they have a lot of developing players in Pat Connaughton, Dante DiVincenzo. Let me see who else they have. That's like young,
They have
good.
Bobby Portis.
Well, Bobby Portis is a little bit older, but he's still pretty young. He's at 25. So yeah,
They
Bobby
don't really
Portis
have like
definitely
young guys
developing
on that
too.
team.
No, they're all pretty young. Yeah, what am I saying?
Yeah, they're on the older side. Uh, some veteran experienced dudes.
Yeah, that PJ
Um,
Tucker at 35. Ooh, he's the oldest
yeah,
player.
yeah, that's the thing. I actually disagree with you. I think they have a better shot this season than next season, just because of, like you said, COVID and everything like that. Some teams are still figuring out their identity. Like we have Miami, who's on the lower, who's a lower seeded team currently. Same thing with Boston. The Knicks are in a really weird situation. Same thing with the Hawks. There's a lot of weird things at play this season with all these different teams figuring things out. So I feel like this is a good season for them to go out and try to make it all the way, with their only worries being about the Sixers and the Bucks. And the Sixers and the Bucks. They are the Bucks. Technically they do have to get out of their own way. But the
That's
Sixers
fair.
and the Nets is what I mean in
I
Brooklyn.
mean, I still think the Heat are also a, a team that they need to worry about as well. The Heat destroyed them last season.
All right, let's look.
And to
Wait, are
account.
you saying that as a biased Heat fan,
No,
or are
I'm
you
saying that genuinely as what happened last
okay?
season, how exposed Giannis was.
Okay, yeah. But I also think Giannis is the type of dude to like remember things and take things personal.
Well, yeah, but what's he gonna do? Start pulling up as from three and start making it? Like I don't
Yeah,
think that's gonna happen
he's
anytime
gonna pull it from
soon.
half court. He got inspired by Damian Lillard and Steph Curry in the All Star game. That's
I
what
would
he's
love
just
to
gonna
see
start
that.
doing.
I would love to see him do that air ball. Like it'd just be hilarious.
No, but I think he's gonna go into that with a different mindset, and him being the leader of that team and bring a different energy. This playoff season, remembering how much it hurt last season, and I feel like he's a dude that takes it very personal. So he probably felt like he let the team down by not being able to play most of that series. So I think he's gonna go into these playoffs and really try to prove himself and prove that the Bucks aren't just some cute team that does well in the regular season but can't prove themselves in the playoffs. I think he's gonna try to
Mhm.
make a statement that it's like, hey, we are here, we're a good team, and we are legitimate contenders that can make a run. And I think that's what they're gonna try and prove this season, especially. But going after this season and the next season, where they pretty much have these same guys, going into the year, what would it be? 21. So basically 22, 23, 2 seasons from now. The only people that are signed up to then are Giannis, Middleton, Jrue, Lopez, and Pat Connaughton. That's it. Only those five guys are
Dang.
signed going after these 2 years. So, what are a couple pieces you think the Bucks need? Because I don't think they could get anyone going into next season. They don't have any cap space either for this off season coming up after the
Well, if
season.
we learned anything from the Nets, buyout market.
But that the thing with the buyout market is buyout
They all
markets
go to
only
the
go
Nets.
to like good teams that are
Well, the
like
Bucks
in
are
big
good enough.
markets. No, but big
Oh,
markets.
big
Milwaukee's a
market.
small
That's true.
market. That's
That's
why.
fair.
That's why you don't really have guys going there. And that's why it's tough to get free agents there. But
Mm.
what do you think the Bucks need though? Like outside of Giannis, Middleton, Drew, what else do you think they need in order to improve their chances or get them over the hill to winning a championship?
Hmm. That's a tough one. They probably need another shooter. That's honestly what they need.
I think they need just a full on bucket getter, I think is what they need. They need a guy that's like, I don't want to say a heat check type of dude, but
So
something
Lou
like
Will
that.
or
Like,
Jamal Crawford.
not necessarily
Well,
Jamal
Jamal Crawford's too old
Crawford.
now, but I'm saying like
Yeah, yeah,
that
but
kind of
something,
player, you
yeah,
know?
like Tim Hardaway Jr. someone like
Dude, Tim
that
Hardaway
maybe.
Jr.'s contract will not work for them at all.
Definitely not. But I'm just saying that type of
But there
play
could be a
style.
buyout for him,
No,
but I
he's
don't
definitely
think he's gonna
not. The
go.
Mavs aren't gonna do that.
They're not gonna do
But that's what I mean. Just a guy that like just a spark plug type of dude that they can put into the rotation. Doesn't have to be as good as Tim Hardaway Jr., but just somebody like that. Someone that can just dominate the ball for a little bit. So that way, when you have Giannis out there, Middleton out there, Jrue out there, they kind of the defense is worried about them, but they know, but because they're so worried about these other guys and they're going to be helping more on them, they're not going to be as worried about this fourth guy
do you
that
want
can
to
go and get a
hear?
bucket.
You want to hear who I think they should sign?
Who,
You're gonna hate me for saying this.
who?
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas just signed with the
Yeah, but it's a
Magic,
10-day
right?
contract. A 10-day contract with the Pelicans. But
Pelicans,
say it
that's what it
doesn't
was.
work out because the Pelicans have way too many guards. I genuinely think he'd be a great player for the Bucks.
I don't
They
have
have
that
such a
much
good
faith in him.
defensive team; they could so cover him.
I think I think the ideal person, which is kind of going away from what I was saying about a guy that's like a heat check type of dude. Uh,
Mhm.
the ideal candidate I think would be Lonzo Ball,
Well, obviously, everyone
but
wants Lonzo Ball,
yeah, they don't have the money
but
for that or
they don't have the
anything.
money
I
for that.
think
But they do have the money for Isaiah Thomas,
they
and I
would,
do
but
believe that it'd work out.
they I think they'd probably have to make a trade. I think that's probably what they're gonna have to do. They're probably gonna have to make a trade.
Maybe that's
Um,
probably a more realistic
or
approach.
draft somebody. They don't have their first round pick this upcoming season. I mean, this upcoming draft, the 2021 draft. And I think they have their next one. I'm not fully sure, but I think they do in 2022. I don't remember if I got traded in any of the deals or not, but I'm pretty sure they still have that one. So I don't know if they get somebody late in the draft that they can just plug in and activate and go and get a bucket for them. But I guess we'll see on that perspective. But yeah, I think they just need a bucket getter, and you would agree with that?
Definitely agree with that. Yes,
Yeah, I think they just need a bucket. Maybe like oh, what's the name of the guard for the Hornets? Obviously not Rozier or
Devonte Graham.
Devonte Graham. I couldn't remember his last name. Devonte Graham, I think, would also be an interesting fit there. Just to give you
He would be an
guys.
interesting fit, and he'd also help in the playmaking department,
Yeah, exactly.
which
Like
is
just to
what they
give you
need
guys an
too.
idea
Because
of what I think would be a nice fit there. Someone to play off of Giannis, and kind of take the playmaking responsibility a little bit more off of Jrue. I think would be really nice. To kind of end the video, the Bucks are currently, as of Tuesday, about 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. The Bucks are currently 32-17, having gone 7-3 in the last 10 games. They're the third seed, 2 games behind Brooklyn, who's at 1, half a game behind Philly, who's at 2. Also, in a 7-game series, do you have the Bucks beating either of these guys?
if everything goes well and they do what we tell them to do with playing Drew Holiday, yes, play on as a primary ball handler for sure. And hold up, before you say that maybe not, you have to take into account Drew Holiday plays like a beast when Giannis isn't on the court. Let me
Okay.
just tell you 2 games that Giannis is sitting out and Drew Holiday played out of his mind. It was
Okay.
April 3rd against the Kings. He dropped 33 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. And then March 22nd, he got 28, 5 rebounds, 14 assists, 2 steals, and a block. If you're telling me that man cannot carry that team on his back when Giannis is out, you're wrong.
I'm gonna be real
Just
with you
imagine
though.
him as a primary ball handler.
I like that's cool, but shoot, if it's just Drew and Middleton out there, they're gonna get destroyed by the
No, no.
Sixers in
Obviously,
Brooklyn.
you have Giannis there, but if you have Giannis off ball and then have Drew Holiday playing on ball that way, yo, that's gonna be a very hard to like cover.
But then
Because now
so
Giannis gonna be running around
okay,
doing his thing.
but Brooklyn Bucks Eastern Conference to go to the finals. You would have the Bucks.
If they play the cards right, yes. But if not, no.
Who do you have?
Who do I have for the finals?
Yeah,
Non-biased or biased?
I prefer non-bias.
Well, biased Heat. Cause I feel like the Heat could be
That
anyone.
wasn't the question.
But non-biased, the Nets look pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, and then Philly. What if it's Philly there with the Bucks at the end?
Oh no, Bucks are beating Philly. I'm sorry, Philly. Philly's gonna choke with Ben Simmons.
Oh, okay, I don't know. I kind of like the Sixers as an underdog wild
Everyone likes the
card.
Sixers, and then someone's gonna make a dumb lucky shot, and then they don't make the finals. Hashtag Kawhi Leonard.
Jesus, flashbacks
Flashback for all
for all,
76ers fans.
all Tampa fans. Um, yeah, but then you would have Brooklyn probably winning it all then, well, at least out of the East, making it for
Yes,
sure.
I'd have
I mean,
Brooklyn, and then if any team could beat Brooklyn, it's definitely the Heat.
interesting. That sounds very biased. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, no. The only reason why
You
I'd
don't,
say
no, I
that
don't
is
want you to
just
make the case right now. We'll save that for another video.
okay.
Probably when
Another
we talk more about
another
playoffs
video.
and
But there
stuff
is a
like that.
case. There is
Maybe
a
next
case in
week.
there.
Yeah, I'll let you make that case. Sure. Um, but Brooklyn. So I actually really like that matchup though of Giannis, KD, I guess Middleton, Harden, Jrue, Kyrie. I really like that
It's
matchup
a
of
good
those
matchup. It's a
guys.
good matchup, and defensively, the Bucks definitely have it over the
Mhm.
because also Brooke Lopez guarding whether it's Blake or if it's LaMarcus, it works out fine too. And then DiVincenzo will be guarding whoever else is on the court.
Well,
But
it'd
I
just be
think
one of the
we're fine.
guards. It'd be a lot. They probably Joe Harris. Probably like Joe
Joe
Harris.
Harris, but yeah, Joe Harris, they can cover him. I mean, not
Yeah.
like well because he's a great shooter, but they
I
can do
just
it as
don't
well
know
as they
what's gonna
can.
happen with Blake. Blake and LaMarcus are really going to show up for that game, and
They have to not play like how they've been playing like in the regular season with every other team. You know?
yeah, like I don't. There was a lot of hype when they got them, and I wasn't really aboard it. Like I knew those guys were good, definitely like they're solid additions, starting caliber players in the league for sure, which is definitely a great thing if you can have possibly one of them coming off your bench. That's really wild to see. So I don't think the Bucks really have anyone to guard those two guys
Well, I mean,
because
Brook Lopez could guard. He's a good defender. For
I
Lamarcus
guess
Aldridge,
Yeah,
Marcus
Brooke
Aldridge is
Lopez
slow.
on LA.
And
Yeah,
Brook
I could see
Lopez,
that.
I remember watching Brook Lopez in a Lakers game against Andre Drummond. He made Andre Drummond look silly.
Andre Drummond's
He
very
was
different though from LaMarcus.
well, yeah, but Lamarcus, well, he can shoot threes. So can Brook Lopez. Ooh.
Yeah,
Like, I
but
don't know. I feel like they're. I mean, obviously Lamarcus Aldridge is better, but I do believe that Brook Lopez defensively is really good. He's like one of the
no,
leaders in
yeah,
blocks
yeah.
in
I'm
the
not trying to
league.
undermine him at all. But then Blake's the real X factor in that series, I
No,
think.
definitely for sure. Because then who's
Um,
gonna guard Blake? That's a real
Also, I
question.
don't. Do you think though that the Bucks can keep up, like points wise, with the Nets?
I think so. I think especially because they could play good defense. I think they can. Because they're still a pretty high defensive team.
They're 19th.
Well, yeah, but in the playoffs they're gonna be better. I'm 100% sure they're
Well,
gonna be
I
better
guess
in the
we'll see.
playoffs.
I guess we'll see.
I
I'm
hope. At least
still
I hope. They have a lot of defensive pieces that I think are gonna do great.
But yeah, any final thoughts on Drew Holiday and the Milwaukee Bucks?
I just my final thoughts are that I'm very high on Drew Holiday. I
Mm-hmm.
do believe that he's gonna be great
Mm-hmm.
in the playoffs. I think he was really great in the playoffs when they went against it was the Portland Trailblazers back then. Do you remember that series that they played?
I don't remember very well.
Well, they swept the Blazers basically, and Drew Holiday and Rondo were the leading like factors in that.
Let's see if he still has that magic.
I think so. I think so. I mean,
We'll
he's more
see.
efficient than ever, so I think so.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's the video for today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. For more content like this, we post weekly NBA content on Thursdays. We post weekly NFL content on Fridays. There's also a Drew Holiday documentary if you want to learn more about the guy personally. I'll put that somewhere on screen for you to click. And yeah,
Follow us
thank you for
on
watching.
Instagram.
What happened?
Don't remember to follow us on Instagram as well.
Oh yeah, you can follow us on Instagram. I'll put the @ in the description. Definitely check us out there. We post some cool stuff every once in a while.
Every once in a while, yeah. I get a little busy with biochem, but I got you guys soon. Don't worry.
But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.
All right, bye.